checking out, check my YouTube, and then
Okay.
check your guys' audio. Or actually, no, I unmuted you. So I should. I've been talking to Mike for a few days.
Audio's
Or actually,
good.
like a D. Oh yeah, great. Can you check on all the platforms, really, if you don't mind?
Okay, YouTube just went live.
Sweet.
So you're live on all three.
Damn, tight. So, basically, Mike's helping me out with trying to stream on multiple platforms. So, right now I'm on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube Live all at the same time.
Oh, yeah?
So now the problem is, how do we get like Mike or you to like help me moderate all the because there's three different chats now.
How do
That was my problem. Why I didn't.
You
like,
could do
I
pop
was
out
streaming on
chat.
both.
You could do pop out chat.
I have
for-
3 monitors, so I have one on each monitor. To be honest.
Oh, okay. So it's not too bad. Just like copy paste, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then, yeah. So I guess it's working.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Welcome everybody. We're hanging out. Like I've been trying to find time to do these streams again, like once a week. I think I'm getting back onto that. I was almost getting to the point where I was doing twice a week, but then I had to remove a tumor, and that kind of capsized everything a little bit. But the tumor's gone. I still have a lot of hormonal stuff. In fact, this Wednesday, which is my birthday, I'm gonna go start treatment on reducing that number. But overall, yeah, life's good, and now I'm feeling better. I'm starting to get back on my feet, catching up on a lot of different things. And with that time catching up, I'm going to stream again. And I started taking on less classes and stuff like that, so that's all helping out in the long run. Yeah, I actually had an art gallery that was done with me and my daughter, and Tyson Murphy and Rob Zavilla and Lim.
How did that go?
Him. It went great, man. It was so much fun. And we got all our kids together, and it's really cool. And they did like epic paintings or drawings.
That's
and
really
just
cool idea,
paintings.
by the way, when I knew what it was.
Yeah, it wasn't the first either. There's obviously a lot of different parents online that do this type of cool stuff. We just kind of built an art gallery around it using our reputations to try to
Yeah,
get
that's
going.
what I mean. Like in terms of like professionals, the people like you and
No,
Tyson. kind
there's
of
some
caliber.
professional people that did it too. So
Oh, really?
I'm not trying to figure out. I'm not trying to say anything negative. Really, I'm trying to get at the point of like we weren't the first, but we definitely took advantage of our area and the amount of artists that are close by. JP came up with some cool ideas of like doing a couples version.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's all these kinds of opportunities to do these fun little art galleries. But it turned out great. I think people turned out. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, yeah, so now that's behind me, and I can start to do a lot more of what I like to do, which is create stuff and teach stuff when I have
Fair enough.
chances. Yeah. But yeah, we got Mike,
What's up?
DJ Mike, also known as Brainchild, aka Pimp, aka
Shortstop.
Mumble Rap Lover,
Shortstop.
aka
See, Kalen's stop. Kalen's got my back. Stop.
Shortstop, man.
aka Moderator.
You got 66 on Facebook, 22 on YouTube, and 4 on Twitch. Also, you have a question on
That sounds about accurate. So Facebook's always pretty.
question on YouTube. My bad.
Ooh,
Clarify.
what's up, YouTuber?
Okay. They say, "Yo, Anthony, love your work, dude. Quick question: how do you learn to separate yourself from other artists?"
Great question. I get asked that all the time. So, Kayla and I have a mentorship program, and in that mentorship program, our goals are to make people have the tools necessary to help improve their work, to just get looked at in the first place, to get a job, right? And one of the goals that we do as well is to teach people how to solve that problem that you just mentioned. And one of the reasons why, I think our mentorships do well is because we don't just teach people how to paint, we teach people how to keep painting. And one thing that we do really well as well, I think, is that we try to make people get better and find a better sense of self-importance and self-worth. Because once you start to discover that, what ends up happening is all these distractions that may come up, and trust me, there will be distractions always and forever, but you will be more educated and more wise onto how to approach some of these distractions. And so one of the distractions that comes up to the detriment of people's growth is how do I get a style or whatever. And I say it's a distraction because people make it seem like there's like a ticket that you need to just purchase, and then once you get that ticket, it's a one-way trip to being awesome, right? And having a style. And the reality of it is the style will just come naturally. Like, it's one of the things you should worry about the least, okay? And the reason why you should worry about the least is because it is one of those things that will naturally come to you, and it's best that you kind of stay focused on your own interests, because that is what will evolve your style. For instance, if you look at a lot of what I do, I like to draw a lot of monsters, robots, creatures, and stuff like that. And that is clearly reflective of the kinds of things that I like. I like to design monsters and robots and all this stuff. That's kind of movies that I like to watch, right? And video games I like to play. And so my style just naturally evolved. And then how did my painting style evolve? Well, it evolved naturally because I like to paint forms, and I'm also like a technician. Like, I like to be technically good at stuff. When I used to play guitar, I would play in a pop punk band, very similar to like Blink-182. But then what I ended up doing was also listen to like death metal or Yngwie Malmsteen, and really fall in love with that kind of stuff because they were technically good, like Steve Vai, like super super good at their instruments. And so that's clearly reflective in my work. And so how do you get style then, right? Like, how does that happen? Well, it's just like I said, it just naturally does. As long as you just do one thing and one thing only, consistently and constantly, which is try to get better and constantly learn new things. And whether you're learning the things that you think you should be learning or not, because that's another question that people tend to ask, is how do I know I'm learning the right things? Let me gauge it in a way that I think really helps you understand, or I'll frame it in a different context. One time there was a person that interviewed me, and they asked me a very specific question, which was, if you can go back in time and tell your past self something interesting or something valuable to help yourself now, what would that be? Right? And I would say nothing. Because it's all the things that happened to me that allowed me to build up to the person I am today. There's a lot of things I did that I have made tremendous failures. I made tremendous mistakes all over the place, all the time. And I don't think that's ever going to go away. But those things have taught me very valuable lessons. And without them, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And I am very thankful for the kind of person that I am today. That's the point I'm trying to make. And so, that's why I try to say, there are obviously nuances and little things that I can help you out and teach you how to do. And that's the kind of stuff that I usually do in my tutorials or my mentorship, is get a little bit more specific, because I don't know you well enough to really get down to the nitty-gritty of your initial problems. But on the grand scale, on the general answer to this, don't focus on stuff like how to get your style, or how to get necessarily better at painting or this or that. Just focus on if you're putting a good amount of effort and time. Okay, these are really the most valuable traits that you can have in your talent tree. If this world was treated like an RPG, right, and we had a talent tree, put your talent tree points into stuff like perseverance, and you'll have a natural style, and you'll have a natural workflow or process, these things will just come up just by the product of your own enthusiasm. Now, what is a more specific answer to that question? Just look at a lot of different things, right? Like just look at tons of different kinds of artists and influences. Watch a lot of movies, play a lot of video games. Not to the point where you're not doing any work, but just play enough and watch enough so you can have a good scope of what's out there. Go on hikes, see the world, look at the world, experience things. These types of things will help evolve your artwork as well. If you're only looking at like sci-fi concept art, like, you know, splurge, then you're going to only make that kind of stuff. So if you want to stand out, then you have to look at stuff that other people might not be looking at. And that's it. That's my answer.
All right. So we got another one over on YouTube.
Yeah, give me their names so that way I can give them a shout out.
That's difficult though.
Yeah, if they have a weird name, that's fine. We'll just give them weird name shout outs.
So
who's the first person? Do you remember?
Okay, let me go back up. Yeah, one sec.
So we can just say thank you for the question.
It was Fibonacci Fanatic.
Fibonacci Fanatic, thank you for your question. Next question on YouTube. YouTube's killing it. Those on Twitch and Facebook, you guys aren't doing so well on the questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that what's really called a talent tree?
Huh?
Game?
What?
It's really called a talent tree?
Or a skill tree or something along those lines. But yeah, like in some video games, it's literally called a talent tree.
So that's why it's called. Well, shouts to Talent Tree, right? Isn't it Talent Tree?
I know. I was waiting to. Yeah, it's Talent Tree.
So that's why it's called
Johnny.
Talent Tree.
He's watching too.
Yeah, it's probably inspired by video games. Yeah, I actually don't doubt that.
As soon as you said that, I was like, "Oh my god!"
It all connected.
Yeah, I was like, the Kill Bill thing came in my head. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Before you go to the second question, there was something that happened. Oh yeah, it's the Missy Elliott song where she says the line backwards. Like I saw people like recently just discovered that when she's like, "Put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it." Like people realized that was reversed for the first time ever, and I was just like, "What? What do you think she was saying?"
I've always known that it's reversed.
Yeah, it's very clear. Yeah, it's very clear. It's very understandable.
Bang down, flipping and reverse.
Yeah. And so is that Kalen? You just had that moment, the Missy Elliott revealing moment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You see the correlation now, like where it's
Kill Bill things played in my head. It's like
you just see like it's like you just see a shot of Kalen, and then like around him just like these like screenshots of like video games where it says talent trees. He's like
all the talent trees that I've seen in my life.
Oh my god! And then you see like it cuts to Kalen like in his bathroom, like putting like these red lines everywhere, and he's like, "Oh my god, everything is connected."
Everywhere in the house, I just didn't know it.
Oh no, he's connecting all the dots, and then it makes a tree. And he's like,
and he steps back, and he looks at it.
Oh my god!
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Next question.
Yeah. So the next person is Diego Alasacaga.
That's fine.
This is what you're getting out of me.
That's
good. That's a good attempt.
Okay, all right.
You gotta practice.
It said, It said how to drive people who quit on drawing to get back from the darkness and inspire them. And inspire them.
Sure, I kind of get the root of that question. So we answer this type of question all the time, and usually I have students who, very rarely though, because most of the students I have, I mean, if you're willing to cough up like $500 for like a mentorship, right? Like you're kind of invested already. Like that's a lot of money for a lot of people. You know, some people like really, it's a lot of money, and they really take it very seriously. Not to say that you do not, or your friend, whoever you're referring to, may not, but there's a different level. So very rarely do I have a student that's truly, apathetic or has this kind of like, I don't feel super motivated. Like they have enough motivation that they were willing to put themselves out there. But sometimes it does happen. Some students are like, I didn't do the homework, whatever, and I was just curious what we can do to stay inspired. And I usually tell people that inspiration is one of those things that you just don't worry about because it's super fickle, meaning that it's one of those things that it's like it comes and goes, like so quickly. And so what I usually tell people to do, and the advice I usually give everybody, is kind of the advice that I was leading into with the previous question and answer that I gave, which is focus on perseverance. Like, focus on things that are tangibly true. And try to get out of your head. Usually people that are in their head too much, usually this type of detrimental growth happens. And so, for instance, if you just stay persistent and you just learn something and you just keep at it, you're going to get good at it, regardless of whatever it is. You understand that? And you should tell them to that. Like, if you spend hundreds of hours on something, right, and you're still really bad at it, and I mean like genuinely spend hundreds, if not thousands of hours on one thing, and you're genuinely terrible at it, then there might be something up, you know, both psychologically or physiologically. But on the common level, and I don't mean that as like insult, by the way. I'm not trying to necessarily say like, oh, you're special or anything. No, I'm genuinely sincere. Like, if there's something that you do quite a bit and you still have a very dramatic, or you have no dramatic increase in your skill over many years, then you might want to, you know, get checked out. You might have something going on. But in most cases, this is the situation. Usually, it's just people just don't find the time or motivation, right? And if you persevere and you put time into, you know, just genuinely trying to do as much as you can, even if it's little by little, things will get done. Things will eventually iron out. And you can test this on yourself, which is always have my friends and students do this, which is think back 5 years ago. Was your work better then, or is it better now? And this is to those who genuinely have been working at least a little bit for the last 5 years. And if you say no, which is very unlikely, then go 10 years. And you'll see that, well, eventually there's going to be a time where you're better now than you were then. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if you put points into your talent tree that reflect patience and resilience, you'll accomplish a lot more. And you'll start to respect that these things just take time. We live in a culture where, especially in the Western cultures and societies, where you got to have it by tomorrow. Like, if you don't do it now, then it's never going to work. But the reality is, you know, slow and steady wins the race is a very, very good model to live by. Not all things apply to that model, but skill improvement absolutely does. Like, if you want to improve on things, just be patient. You will improve on things in time, as long as you put some of that genuine effort. I remember one time we were streaming, right, and then like Kaylin brought up, what was it, Bobby Fischer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby Fischer.
Yeah, and then you're going on the side of that he was like a prodigy of some sort, and by definition, I think a prodigy is someone who's just like exceptional at a very young age, right? So there's truth to that. But I remember I made the argument of like, but I bet he'd spent some time. Like, I bet it wasn't overnight. And then we went and did Wikipedia, and we discovered, yeah, it took about 6 years, right? Spent 7 years devoted to becoming a chess champion, right? And so even though he was young when he was starting to win these like championships and what you call it, it still wasn't easy for him. He had to earn it. It's just that like when other people, when they're like 7 years old, are playing with toy trains, whatever, other boys at his age, he was playing chess by himself for like hours. So for instance, what I do with my kids, my daughter wants to go on our iPad or whatever, or play like Roblox or whatever video game on the laptop, or Overwatch. I have her draw 5 to 10 drawings of whatever, or I have her draw from a book. And when she's done, she can play games. Now, she enjoys drawing. She doesn't see it as necessarily as a chore, so she doesn't get upset about it. She goes right to it, right? And she just pumps these drawings out. Little does she know, she doesn't understand yet, but she will when she gets older, that I'm like training her to become a badass. And she is getting better and better. Like, she's getting faster, she's getting more observant. And it's not because she's necessarily talented, it's because she's she's going to be drawing a lot. Like, she's going to be the kind of kid in her school who is going to be the artist, who's going to be well drawn. And I'm making it not as challenging for her. I'm not making her draw like hours on end. If she just keeps this up for 10 years of her life, when she's 15, she'll be phenomenal. You know? Especially when she starts to get accolades for it. Especially when she starts to become more cognitively aware of what it could mean for her future. You know? But for her right now, I just keep it fun and light. And associate it with good rewards. Because I know that simply all I have to do to make her have a vocation is just to make her do something a little bit every day. You know? All the time. And it applies for us people who are older too. So that would be kind of the general advice I would give to that person, or to your friend, or to anybody who has that predicament.
Well, next question is, I'd like to know is, why does this person want to motivate their friend?
Yeah.
That would be kind of another one too.
Well, probably just they're friends. I have friends like that. I had like a hard talk with a good friend of mine recently about like careers and taking it seriously. They were kind of like pointing fingers a lot, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was...
Then yeah, you definitely have that talk.
Yeah.
But also remember that everyone's on different kind of walk of life, so someone that wants to chill out, you can't really do anything about it. But if they're complaining, then obviously you gotta be like, all right, you can't.
Yeah, that's a good assertion. Like, also, if someone's fine with their career path, they should be okay with that too. Like, maybe to you it's like, well, you should be pursuing something, but like there are some people who are very complacent and happy with their complacement.
Yeah,
Complacency.
Like that I try to motivate, but they're like, you know what? Like, I don't want to do that. And at first, I was the same way. I was like, oh, come on, don't you want to be like really, really good? And they're like, yeah, but like I want to do this too. And it took me a while to realize that, you know what, not everyone is me. And as long as they're happy.
Are you in the bathroom, Caleb?
Am I in the bathroom?
Yeah, you sound far away.
Oh shit! Sorry. What about now? The
You're just laying down doing some yoga. Yeah, you know,
in
just...
the bathroom. He's here. No, I'm not.
Also, we hear a faucet. He's like washing his hands.
No, I'm not in the bathroom.
It's very, very casual.
Are you in the club? No, I'm not in the club.
He's in the bathroom writing out the diagram.
What's going on?
Found the talent tree.
Okay, more questions. Let's go to Facebook this time.
Ooh,
I don't need to stay on one platform.
Uh-oh.
By the way, guys, I'm not going to get to everyone's questions because there is 3 streams going on, and we never attempt to get to every question, so
Failure.
it's kind of first come, first serve.
We usually get to all of our questions, but I think you're
Not
right.
on 3 platforms.
Yeah, I think you're right to suspect maybe not this time.
Okay. Johnny Hall said, what's been something that's really frustrated you recently art-wise that you feel is hard to grasp?
That's not a very, like, I always admit this to people too, that I'm not very good at answering this question. And a lot of it has to do with there's nothing, and this is not me being hubris, this is just the reality of it. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. There's nothing truly that I feel frustrates me art-wise. Because I know one simple thing, Johnny. If I don't put a lot of time in it, I'm not going to be very good at it. It's simple as that. So like for instance, I'm jumping back into Unreal and doing 3D stuff. And I'm like, man, I need to go to animate. And so I was trying to do a little bit of animation and rigging, and it was difficult. And I was, at some level, you could say frustrated, but it wasn't the kind of frustration that was like, man, like I suck at this. No, it was more like, I want to be amazing right now, but I know it's not going to happen, right? And the question I have is, should I invest in learning some animation and rigging right now? That was more of the question. It wasn't so much of like, man, I suck at animation, it'll never happen type of thing. It was more like, do I genuinely want to spend this time right now? Or is there an alternative that will satisfy my immediate needs? And the alternative was Mixamo and learning some basic rigging and modeling or rigging and animation in alternative platforms. And then I said, well, what resources do I have and what resources are available? Maybe I can find a thing that's worth investing in that will be a shortcut but everything still takes time, and so I never lose sight of that. So, for instance, I'm looking into doing like motion capture using the Kinect because my son has an Xbox. He doesn't use his Kinect. I don't think anybody uses their Kinect. And so I asked him to borrow it, and so now I'm just waiting on an adapter, which was a minimum cost of like $40. Especially, it's going to be worth the money if I can make a homemade mocap at home, right? And I am one person of leniency. That means like I don't need things to be perfect. I don't need things to be amazing. I just need things to work and to convey the ideas that I have in my mind. And as long as that works, then I'm going to do that. I'm going to work on it. And
go ahead.
Oh yeah. So to just kind of finish my thought on this, so I don't ever really get frustrated, right? Because I know that it always is determined on whether I'm actually committed or not. And if I am committed to like learning something new, or I'm committed to like something that is artistically challenging, I just know it's as simple as, well, I should just do more of it. I'll get better at it. It's that simple for me. And I know, like a lot of times people want a more solid answer. I suspect, which is like, when you get frustrated, just go drink some Kool-Aid and go, walk your dog or something like these types of. No, like I do those things too, but it's not an escape to the frustration. It's more just I just need a break because I need to go outside, see the sun, and get air, right? And usually you do that with hanging out with my children. Wait, hold on just a second. My wife's yelling at me.
Oh no.
Oh, my wife. My wife is also moderating. What'd you say, sweetheart?
She's just moderating her own comments. Bear Road.
Oh,
Should I do
no, I was talking about the kids and. Huh? Yeah, so someone I guess was asking about what age did I make my kids draw. I didn't make them draw at all. They just started drawing. Julian, for instance, my boy, he doesn't draw nearly as much as Delilah, and I don't push it on him. Like Delilah is definitely into it, like naturally. Like there's days where she'll just draw because she likes to just draw. This is why I encourage it, and that's why I make it a chore because it's not really a chore for her. So she kind of feels like I just got to draw to do this thing, but I'm kind of like psychologically training her to understand that that's what I do. I draw a thing, and then people pay me money.
Reward you.
Yeah, and so she's learning kind of a little bit more than just how to draw. Like she's learning that there's a standard. Sometimes I'll challenge her. I'll be like, I want dinosaurs with wings, so she has to draw that instead of like whatever she normally would draw. And so we don't necessarily force them to do anything. Like I said, like she just draws when she wants to, and then if she wants to get like playtime on things, she has to earn it, and she's still a little too young to do some larger chores.
What are the larger chores?
Like taking the trash out and washing the dishes with their hands.
Torturous to watch her do that.
Move to bed.
Hold on, sweetheart. Like I have people talking to me too. My wife is also moderating.
But which platform is she moderating?
Come on.
Yeah, what are you on Facebook or I'm assuming Facebook?
Yeah.
Like not on my cell phone.
Yeah, she's probably on Facebook. Okay, so to answer Johnny's question, though, hopefully I got it. I got you, Johnny. It's specifically the frustration isn't so much there. The kinds of things that frustrate me are things that are a little bit out of my control, But becoming better at things are not out of my control.
All right.
It just takes time and effort.
I'll probably go to Twitch next. But before that, I was going to mention, have you seen Face Rig?
Oh yeah,
Since you're interested in
I've been knee deep in this stuff now. Like you can even ask my wife. Like,
yeah, I figured.
Once I start to say I want to learn a thing, I get into it. So that's how I even know that there's a connect. I've just been watching countless amounts of videos on it.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
that was something new.
So
to
we'll
me.
see. And then one of my good friends, Kalen, not the Kalen in the stream, but we call him White Kalen because he's white, and then Black Kalen because he's black. Make it easier. Even the kids call you White and Black Kalen. He does this type of stuff all the time. So I was like, you and me for a weekend or something. Like, let's learn this, Because it was like especially if I want to try to get into making my own assets and stuff. Like if I don't, the more work that I can kind of offload to automation, the more I can stay creative. And so I'm spending a lot of my time learning more foundational stuff that will transcend the technology and automation. Fun fact, the top 20% jobs that are unlikely to get screwed over by automation, like robots and stuff, are still creative jobs. So
22%.
It's like it's pretty high. I mean, it's so like what I do, for instance, concept art, these types of things will be much more valuable.
They're still trying though.
It'll eventually happen. I said for now. I'm a believer that even creative
concept art program.
Oh yeah, I believe
it
will happen, man. It could happen. Because the better I get at things, and the more I learn about how to become better at things, the clearer it becomes that this can also be automated. It really can. It doesn't seem like it could. It seems like something like really cerebral and something that's like, beyond nature even, right? Like this conscious mind that we have. No, you can simulate all this stuff for sure. Just not now. The technology and the processing power to make this type of stuff happen is really heavy. But we are on the first footsteps to making the technology. They discovered time crystals, okay? And then time crystals are going to allow us to have quantum computing, basically computing at like a freaking tiny level, which is awesome. And that's the kind of stuff that we would need to be able to start to simulate creative tendencies, because that's kind of what our brain is at, right? Like the problem is not that the brain is, we can't make something like the brain at all. It's just because the brain is so complex and works at such a high capacity that even a machine that can like count numbers faster than our brains, or can do like these single tasks or multiple tasks that's like a bunch of single tasks that look like one big kind of cognitive AI, but it's really just a trick, It's because like to process in a way where it's like starts making patterns and stuff on its own, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of power and a lot of computing. Like it took our brains like millions of years to develop to the way it is. And so I think like 30, 40 years potentially. Like I think maybe in our lifetime we'll see something that will be able to like write its own song or write its own screenplay or book completely autonomously, and even drawings. Like I think all that stuff, because really what it is, like when you see me right here drawing this monster, squid monster, and like cloth, like this is just the collection of my experiences and the things that I've learned. So all you have to do is just make a machine that can do that too, right? That can just like look on the internet, and you just kind of like say, okay, I want you to only look at squids, and I only want you to look at birds, and I want you to look at all kinds of squids and birds, and then one day, after doing that for like a whole day of rendering, then make an image that looks like a squid bird that's never been seen before, and it would be able to do it. You understand? And that's pretty much how our brains work, just at a very like large capacity. And so, yeah, even creativity, I think, will eventually be automated. But I think when that happens, there's a few things that might go on. One, we'll just be a hive mind. We'll just be machines.
We'll be one with the machines.
Or the machines have taken over.
All right, next question.
Well, you don't like to hear about your existence and how futile it is?
You know, if I don't stop you now, you're only going to get through 2 questions.
True facts.
So many
you know me so
well. Okay, before that, real quick, I wanted to mention that the way that I saw quantum computers explained is that our current computers only work on like ones and zeros, so they can only do like one task either on and off, but super fast, like you mentioned. And then what quantum computing would open up is it's a multitask. To do like 1,000 operations at once.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I agree.
Tremendous increases of speed.
That sounds dope.
Sick, bro.
So on Twitch, Safehead asked, hey, how do you stay confident and motivated with your work to keep going?
I think I kind of answered that. Yeah, I think I kind of answered that with the previous answer that I was saying to Johnny. I just probably wasn't answering. I probably was talking about something else at the time when he asked that question. I'm sure I answered that question out though. Basically, like I said, I'll just kind of paraphrase again, just to make sure if you didn't hear it the first time. I just paint and draw the things I like. I just do it very often. In the very beginning, I was very naive to these ideas of like, oh man, will I make it or not? But now looking back, I can see how naive I was, and that's why I usually try to tell people, don't worry about it. Like, just if you keep at whatever it is that you're good at, or the things that you're not even good at, things that you're just interested in, you'll just get better at them. It's just how it works. And that fact allows me not to get too frustrated. Like I said earlier, I don't get too frustrated with things that are in my control. I get frustrated with things that are out of my control, or things that are hard to truly manage.
All right.
You know, like getting a tumor. That's not very. That's hard to deal with. Or your kids getting sick, complications in your life. These types of things that are just not within your scope of control. These types of things are generally the things that bother me day by day. Cultural stuff, political stuff, these types of stuff, right? Like, I heard just the other day that we dropped like 200 bombs in Syria. And dropped a bunch of bombs in Syria and killed 200 people, 200 civilians, upwards of 200 civilians. And I'm just like, that sucks. Like, I'm just sitting in my home, like painting monsters and stuff, and people are like running for their lives every fucking day. That stuff frustrates me. Will I get better at Unreal Engine? Not so much, you know? And so I generally kind of have a better perspective on like skill-based stuff that shouldn't frustrate you versus like, if you want things to really bother you, you should look at the world, right? Those are more important. And if you don't want to be bothered by that stuff, then just trust my insight. Don't be so frustrated with skill-based knowledge, which is almost everything.
All right. So KCGX03 says, is there a single book or resource that sticks out as being very informative when you started drawing?
Oh, yeah.
Or just changed your perspective on educating yourself artistically?
Yeah, I think pretty much everything done by Design Studio Press, pretty much hands down. James Gurney, Light and Color, Linedecker book. That's actually a really easy answer, or question to answer, because I can think of like books that are just like, whoa. Some specific books that really got me, which is Framed Ink. That was a good one. That hit me hard. Skillful Huntsman, another one.
You can go to parkablogs.com. I don't know if it should be still around, but there's a guy that all he does is review art books. And it's a really good resource if you're like on the fence about a book. Like, he usually reviews it, and then he kind of does like a little video where he kind of like flips through the book and stuff like that. So that might be a good place for you to check out too. I'm not sure if it's still around or not. Let me see if it's still around. It should be called Parka, like Parka. Parka blogs. Yeah, it's still there. Sweet.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Did you find it, Mike?
No, I said I've heard of it.
Yeah, here, let me post it in the chat real quick.
Which chat?
Which one?
Just Google it, guys.
It to me. You shared it to me. I'll share it to all of them.
Parkablogs.com. Yeah, that's all you gotta do. Parkablogs.com.
Thank you, Kalen.
Parka blogs.com. They do everything. They got even bigger now. They actually review all like the tablets and stuff. They review like the tablets and the Cintiqs and they do everything.
Sick.
Crazy.
Sick.
How big that guy's gotten.
Any other
I think
questions?
Dina was the person that put us on.
Tons of questions.
All right. So another from
I can't
Twitch,
post links on
YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, sorry guys. Okay,
We'll sort it out some other day.
Vishek Mohan asks, Kalen's mentorship has been unavailable on Robot Pencil for a few months. Will it be back up anytime?
Ask Kalen. See, the way that we do the mentorships is not like an organized school. It's based off of the instructors.
Availability.
Yeah, or whether Kalen wants to do one or not. It's up to him.
Yeah, luckily AJ is technically my boss, but he doesn't come to me and say, "Hey, you haven't done a mentorship. You need to do one next month." It's mostly just because I've been really, really busy with kind of like my new job kind of role with the game company, a local game company. So I've just been really, really busy. And on top of that, I'll be going to Barcelona for the workshop there. And then my brother is actually getting a promotion. He's
Nice.
he's lieutenant colonel, and he's now becoming a squadron commander. So it's like a huge deal because now he gets access to Stargate or some shit like that. I think
Sounds cool.
Stargate.
Every time, like, actually, when he told it to me, he's like, "Yo, I'm a squadron commander. We're gonna have a ceremony in June or July." I was like, "Yo, does that mean you get access to Stargate?" And he just looks at me, and I'm like, "All right, you can't tell me. That's cool." I'm like, "But like, it's real though, right? Like Stargate, because Air Force." You know? But yeah, so it's just a lot of family stuff I've been kind of dealing with, and then like I'm saving money to get married, so. I will definitely let people know like when, like probably like a month in advance or a little bit more in advance. And luckily my class isn't as popular as AJ's, so there's probably only like maybe like 5 or 6 people that are like really like I want to know when it's going to happen. And my class is only like 5 or 6 people anyway. So, but yeah, it will definitely. I'm trying to get it in the summer, hopefully, when I kind of figure out my schedule. So, yeah, there's the answer to your question. So thank you.
You guys have a mailing list, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The waiting list and mailing list.
Sign up.
Yeah, we do have a waiting list, mailing list. But yeah, it's like if you send an email, if you sent an email at any point in time to the Robot Pencil, like all I really have to do is just type in like my name, environmentalship, and it will let me know. I can see all the people that have emailed me about it, and then I'll send out an email to you guys first. So rest assured that it will happen. It's just for the first time in a while, I've been like really busy, and I'm kind of like, oh shit, like I don't want to overextend myself and you know, have a class and then not give you guys a good class because that's not fair. So
Smart,
right? I learned from AJ, right? I don't want to overextend myself.
True facts.
Facts.
Adon said, "What's up?"
What's up, dude? I'm assuming
Jericho
Facebook.
Moriels. Yeah, Facebook.
Okay.
Jericho Moriels said, "Hey man,"
From
Facebook.
okay.
Said, "How do you know?" Wait. Said, "How do you know that your painting is done? Like you're satisfied that it's already a finished product?" Thanks.
How do I know when my painting is done?
What's up, guys?
When they say turn it in.
What's up, John?
When John shows up. All right, guys. See you guys. Thanks for showing up.
Bye, guys. Good stream.
Oh man.
Man. When John shows up, we have to know we're done.
I do have to get going soon, though. So we're gonna do lightning round after this question. So the answer to that question is when I'm doing a painting for myself, I'm done when I'm just done. Usually about an hour. I'm like, all right, I'm good, and I just move on. So the more importantly is like, when are you done for a client? Is whenever they sell you when you're done. But for me, if I had to really kind of generalize that question or give you kind of a solid answer, it would be similar to like when I look at my image and I say, okay, I think anybody looking at this gets the idea. Then I'll kind of finish the painting. Like even right now, like even like 20 minutes ago, I could have considered this done. I just keep painting because I'm talking still, right? So that's usually when I stop. But I'm at a different caliber, right? Because I focus a lot of my career on speed painting. So I do finish paintings much quicker generally. You know? So good ways to gauge how to finish your paintings quicker, just time yourself. That's usually advice I give my students. I usually give them some sort of schedule on how to time themselves and stuff like that. But I generally just try to do things until I feel like it's done. There's no more to be done or said.
I think what you said there was really good. Was what was the purpose of the drawing? Like, can you communicate an idea? I think that's a good way to. What you said right there really makes sense. Like, you can think about like, what is the painting for? Is it to help a modeler out? Is it to help an animator out?
Yes.
Or is it to communicate a simple idea? As soon as you feel like you're able to kind of show that and people can get it, and I think that's probably when you're close to being done. Anything after that is like you're kind of just flexing, like you're just showing off, like you're gonna extra render shit. You know what I mean? You're like, I didn't have to render that shit, but I did anyway because it looks tight.
Sure.
But you know what I mean. So
I
think
do.
just like ask yourself the
Like-
purpose.
Like the fact that this painting, for example, doesn't have a background, but you could put one. But is it
You
necessary?
could put one in there, but
don't-
it's like
It's
you
not
don't
necessary.
really need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. As long as you communicate
That'd be
your idea,
flexing.
anything after that, it's just kind of nice to like inspire the team or impress the team and stuff like that. So yeah, like whenever the idea gets done, and if you have extra time, then yeah, put those things in there.
All right, let's lightning round this. Let's start from like who is the larger crowd?
There's a lot of looks like there's a lot of questions on YouTube.
MC.
Yeah, but who's the largest crowd?
It's actually pretty even. Facebook has 71 and YouTube had 71. Now they're at 69.
And then Twitch is at like 2.
Twitch is at 26.
Oh, Twitch is leveling up. All right, so then we'll start with Twitch.
Okay.
And then we'll go to Facebook. No. We'll
There
start
are
with,
no questions on Twitch.
we'll
no
start
new
with
questions.
we'll start with YouTube. I mean, since they have the most questions. That's what I was thinking it backwards. I was like, the people who have the most questions should go first, and then Facebook, and then Twitch. So if you guys want to ask your questions, you better start going to Twitch or Facebook, because all questions from here on out, YouTube is done. No more questions from right at this moment. Okay, go ahead. Lightning round.
All right, you have to make an effort to be lighting though, because like you're never lighting.
You're right.
Just say.
I'll set a timer.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Everyone's
Or 15 seconds. 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
Yeah. Super lightning round,
Every
right?
time I'm gonna say.
All right, ready?
Okay, go.
Here's the
Okay,
first
go.
one.
Go.
They said, "I love the way you capture the subtleties of muscle below the flesh. How did you go about mastering that?"
Lots of anatomy studies, and lots of studying masters. People like Leyendecker, Rockwell, some living legends like Phil Hale, Jeremy Geddes, Sargent, some modern legends, these types of people, and just getting really good at my brushwork.
You're done.
Oh, nice.
Okay. The next one said, "Hey Anthony, how do those Chinese digital artists get that crazy color variation in their painting? Your work somewhat has that feel. I know that if you use overlay modes, it's similar but not quite exact."
Yeah, they just rely a lot on values, and then they just kind of do washes of color that overlay on top of each other constantly. And plus, they train traditionally quite a lot. And I believe watercolors is a very popular medium in China.
There you go.
So it's probably ingrained in their culture.
All right, done.
Okay. This one says, I always have trouble with the form and shapes and having shapes interact with each other in space. For example, drawing the forms of limbs overlapping or in relation with other limbs.
Yeah, again, back to studying some anatomy, some form studies. Like try to paint spheres and cones and cylinders in space. If you can't even do that, then don't even try to do some more complicated things yet. Or at least don't do them seriously. Like if you're just doing it for fun, like just to have fun painting people and stuff, go for it.
Okay. Somebody said, "I have a question. Lately I've found problems with painting skin in color. Can you give me any advice on how I can improve?"
Again, values. Anytime it involves colors, people usually blame the colors, but it's actually most likely the values. And when it comes to skin, the reason why skin's very difficult, I won't be able to answer this question obviously in 15 seconds, but there's one last statement: is the skin is it's reflective, it's absorbent, and it's refracting. Means light bounces off of it, it goes through it, and then it gets absorbed by it. Okay, so that's why it's very hard to paint, especially in color. So focus on values.
What if all that I'm compelled to draw is fan art or art for other people?
Then just do it. Do you, boo?
Okay.
I know plenty of people that make a great living just doing that.
Is that a response?
And they're very happy.
Anyway,
Like go to WonderCon. I think it's still going on, or it was. Or go to any con. And just
Ross Draws only does fan art, right?
yeah.
Just like Kimi.
That's what I'm saying. I know tons of people.
Yeah.
And I don't look down at them either, and that's what I'm trying to get at.
Do you?
I want to be close to my
very
family,
best.
seeing
Yes.
how. God damn it, guys!
Otherwise,
I saw that coming. They said, "I want to be close to my family, seeing how there's no job in Australia and how saturated the international scene is. Should I continue doing concept art?" Freelance, dude.
First answer to that question: freelance. And second answer is: are you sure there's no jobs? Because whenever people say that, I do a little thing called Google, and then I find jobs. Now the question is: are you qualified or not? That's a whole different question. But are they there or not? I mean, Weta is like in New Zealand, which is not too far away. But I guess you still have to move away from your family, probably.
Okay. I think this is a question. How to think simple before starting to draw. I think a lot, but whenever I am before my canvas, just boom, I blank head. I don't know that where to start.
Okay. Are we still on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm almost done with that YouTube.
Okay, great.
Just 2 more.
So the answer to that question is you don't study enough. You just shoot from the hip too much. If you don't have any new information coming in, then don't expect any new information coming out. Continue. Move on.
Okay.
Getting better at this.
How do you manage your time
Practice,
when
right?
learning something new in client work?
Give me a year.
Give me a year. You just manage it. You just have to start using timers. You got to start being more. Yeah, you got to be more honest with yourself. There's a thing that happens with a lot of us artists, including myself, especially me, where you overbook your time, and so you just got to be better about that. Hence, time management. The word management is key there.
Okay, we're going to Facebook.
Thank you guys, everybody on YouTube. You guys can keep on watching, obviously, but we're not going to take on questions on Facebook. Appreciate you all's YouTube, man. I'm glad
Yeah,
we
they
got them
came
in there.
through.
Yeah,
Took a
YouTube
while.
people.
They came up.
You guys are here to learn for show. All right. Anyways, continue. Okay,
Are
from
you
here on
using
out, no more
reference-
questions from Facebook. Just so we know.
Yeah, okay.
So if you want to ask more questions, go to Twitch.
Are you using a reference to come up with this drawing? Really would like to know.
I use. There's 2 references that I usually refer to. There's internal reference and there's external reference. But you're always using reference. Internal reference is what I'm using the majority of the time, which is reference that I've collected over just tons of practice, tons of studying, tons of observation. So no, I'm not using any reference that you can see to the sides of me, but it's all in here. I earned it.
This actually rolls into that. They said, could you talk about developing a mental library beyond taking time and effort? Looking young artists do
No, man.
to draw from the answer.
That's like literally what you have to do. Like, can I?
Kalen couldn't even hold it back.
Yeah,
It's just like,
time out. Let's put a timer on the timer. Let me tell you a funny story. There's
That was a great question.
There's that show, Master of None, with Aziz Ansari, and there's a moment when him and her friend is talking about bowling. He's like, "Man, bowling is easy." I know, man. Like, I think all we had to do is just like bowl, huh? Yeah, we're almost wrapping up.
It's almost an hour already.
Yeah. Okay, sweetheart.
Stories. It's really quick.
She just wants me to answer questions. We gotta watch TV together. I think she's falling asleep too. All right. Anyways, I won't get into it because I need to answer questions. But there's a moment where they talk about bowling. You should look it up, and that sums up kind of how I feel about this.
okay, and
Master
the
of
answer to
none.
your question is time and effort.
Time and effort.
Okay,
It is the best way. If you're looking for a shortcut, that is the shortcut.
It's reliable.
Yeah.
What else? Are there any mistakes in your life that you learned a lot from and would like to share?
There's too many. Like that was kind
That's
of
the last question on Facebook.
Yeah, there's too many, and that's the point. Like that's why I made a comment earlier about if I had to go back in time to kind of tell myself some advice, I wouldn't tell myself anything. There have been a lot of mistakes that I've made, but there's none that I would take back, and I mean that. And I made some serious ones, you know. But I generally am appreciative of those mistakes because some of them made me wiser in terms of how to become better as an artist. Others made me more humble, and some of them just needed to happen to kind of mold me into the kind of person I am today. So there's a lot. That's like a whole different talk, maybe like a different stream. I'll go into it, but not right now.
Okay. 2 more questions. One from Facebook, one from Twitch, and that's it.
Okay.
So we're ending it here, guys. They said, "Hey guys, just in case you didn't see the question above, what's the difference between a concept artist and a 2D artist?"
2D artist is usually a super generalist. Like sometimes they'll texture and they'll concept or they'll create like UI. They're pretty much super generalized. And a concept artist is usually like drawings of things that will be made.
Yeah, 2D artists, you might even also do like like in-game stuff. Like you see that working around on like mobile games.
Yeah.
Like a 2D artist like might do like actual like production ready like sprites and stuff like that
Sure.
sometimes too.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
just all sorts of whatever. As long as it's 2D, that's kind of the point.
Okay, last question says, Anthony, sorry, but I just woke up and I want to ask you something. What do you think about studying speed, slow or fast?
I'm all about painting faster. Like, learn how to do that. It makes you a better artist overall. Like, just in general. Because you teach yourself how to get rid of bad habits and teach yourself good habits as well. That's it, folks. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, Kaylin. Appreciate you, Mike.
Stop.
Yeah, John, I appreciate your absence. Oh,
Sorry, guys.
yeah, get out of here. Worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for everyone that's on YouTube, everybody that's on Facebook, everybody that's on Twitch. I appreciate y'all. I'm glad I found an opportunity to hit you guys on all 3 platforms. That's really cool. There's more platforms out there, but I only have these 3. And but it was good. There was a lot of questions and a lot of diverse questions. It seemed like a lot of questions didn't necessarily overlap as much. Ooh, trippy. This is the only way. I have only one monitor, so it's the only way I'm gonna have to be able to stop the streams. But anyway,
Some people, real quick, some people are asking, they're saying they came late on YouTube. Did the stream should automatically archive to his YouTube channel shortly after the stream so you can watch it back?
yeah, and I record this stuff, and I usually put all these things, especially the one on Facebook, I put it onto my website. So if you just go to robotpencil.net, you'll find all the streams eventually there, and all previous ones I have done. And me and John are working together to put a lot of those ones onto YouTube, so just keep staying tuned. A lot of those will come up there. With that, peace out, y'all. So let's see. I'm going to check Twitch. See you guys. Bam. And then now YouTube. Bye, YouTube.